everyone, it's Em and either welcome or welcome back to my channel where I mostly talk zines, which are handmade magazines. So it's been a while since my last video, around like 3 months, so I'm going to be showing you all the zines I've made throughout May, June and July. And yes, I now have short and kind of like gingery brown hair, so that is a fun little update. But without further ado, here are the zines I have made over the last 3 months. In early May, I had the opportunity to host a whimsy making zine workshop, and I thought it'd be really fun to sort of do something very creative and make zines dedicated to our inner creatures. And during the workshop, I also got to make my own little zine inspired by my own theme, and I just kind of went super I just kind of ran with my imagination for this, and I created this very bedazzled zine dedicated to this inner creature I created called Plip. And there's a bit of a narrative to it, and it was very, very fun kind of writing this, as usually my zines are very like image and collage based, so it's been fun incorporating more writing into my zine making. It says, Plip was born in a spiral of butterflies and flowers. Plip's soul is yellow and Plip loves to float for hours. From sunrise to sunset shimmering, Plip will bring the extra magic. Plip lives in the top floor of a hotel, coming and going when they please. Plip travels the world with ease. Plip loves to snack on clouds and sometimes gets in a tuff with pigeons over who gets the crumbs on the ground. When Plip is too lazy to fly, they will hitch a nearby ride. And there's like a little image of him, image of them, Plip riding like a little ladybug. And did you know that Plip is an award-winning designer of interiors? Plip uses their whimsy to create the most dreamlike spaces. Plip has 7 awards which Plip likes to bedazzle when they get bored. And I found this like sort of fun quote in a Vogue magazine that is kind of like someone talking about their sort of interior design work and like their inspirations for it, and I thought it'd be fun to like incorporate that into it. Like Plip was giving a little speech about their work, and after a long day of art and flying, Plip likes to conk out next to their best friend Butterfly. And yeah, that's kind of the end of that. And then I just printed off some images from Pinterest to bring to the workshop, and this is like a very fun looking matcha with like candy confetti in, and it says I refuse to lose whimsy. So yeah, this was like the first zine I made in May, and it was just fun and silly, and I had a lot of fun like just kind of creating this really silly Billy narrative around Plip, who's like this little floating blue kind of creature. The next zine I made in May was the 3rd installment of Rodent Affirmations. Yes, it is finally here. I'm going to be making a rodent affirmation every year, and this is year 3 since I started this kind of like mini zine series. So the affirmations we have: hay fever will not be ruining my spring and summer. I release all tension from my body. Safe foods are valid. Foods with weird textures are not. I read every single book I buy. This is a personal call out to myself. If you like have kind of seen behind me and you're gonna ask how many of these I've actually read. To be fair, quite a few, but half of them are like my TBR list. And then we got like this little hamster, very much stressing out, but the affirmation is I am not stressing out. And then this guinea pig that honestly looked like the, you know, the lights are on but no one's home. I have no idea what's going on, and that is okay. And then we have the affirmation capybara, affirming you all. And then another like mini zine I made was sort of like linked to a workshop I was doing, and it was an art as play workshop. So this is using art to like truly let go and be messy and unlearn any perfectionism you have around art. I feel like a lot of people get really reluctant to create something because they're worried it's going to be bad. I used to be a bit of a perfectionist, and I still have my moments, but I'm kind of like getting out of my head about it and just letting myself make whatever. Sometimes it is awful and sometimes it's great and sometimes it's just okay. So this workshop, it was just to encourage people to just create whatever with no judgment. So I made a little artist play zine to kind of like gift to people at the workshop. So it's like create faces in the circles, add to the chaos and use colours to kind of like add to this scribble, doodle your dream house, draw a self-portrait with your non-dominant hand, except there's a typo in this because my spelling is arse, and I said with your non-dominate hand, so that's funny. and then draw something with your eyes closed, and then dedicate this page to your favorite color combo. So you can literally just do dots that are in like pink or green. I love a blue and orange combo, so I could just do like blue and orange scribbles. So yeah, that is the little Arts Play mini zines. So these are a few mini zines I made in May. June zine was very exciting because it was my brand new sort of submission like community zine, which explores topics around folklore, and this is the first ever issue of For the Folk of It. I'm so happy with how this came together, and even though it's like a bit smaller than I initially thought it would be, I absolutely adore the stories and the artwork in this, so thank you to those who did take the time as well. And the theme for this, I decided to do two themes because originally the theme was banshees, and some people said it felt a little limiting. And I said you could either do the theme of banshees or creatures from my motherland. So this is like exploring folklore from your own heritage. I'm half Irish, so actually that kind of tied nicely into that as well. And we've got like this gorgeous piece of artwork too. Yeah, and I had so much fun editing this and kind of like designing it as well, and just finally taking this from an idea to an actual like tangible object. That's like one of my favorite parts of the zine making process, especially when it's like a Gazette for the Girls or like a For the Folk of It issue. So yeah, that is the zine of June. Sadly this was kind of like the only zine. Oh wait, no, I made one more zine, I just don't have a physical copy of it because I only brought like 4 or 5 copies of it to a zine fair I did, and they all sold, but they were like another mini zine called like Pigeons in Places. This is kind of like what it looks like on an A4 page when it's like not been printed and folded yet, but it kind of goes like pigeons up high, pigeons down low, pigeons together, pigeon alone. I love pigeons everywhere I go. It was like, I think the zine fair kind of fell on like International Pigeon Day, so I wanted to honour the pidgeys. I fuck heavy with pigeons, you know, they're kind of cute. They get a bad rep, man. I'm so mad at TFL for shooting all of them too. Justice for pigeons. And then the zines I made in July are these two here. So I think I found out either, I think maybe May or June, but I basically applied to do a creative writing MA, and I don't have an undergraduate degree. I did film for a bit, then my health got really bad so I deferred, then I did fashion marketing, then the global pandemic happened and it was a nightmare, so then I deferred, and then I decided not to go back because I had a job, and I was like, okay, I kind of like would rather be making money and being able to afford to live than like go back into education, you know. But this master's, it's like I think either 1 to 2 days a week, so it actually works really nicely around my current job, so I don't have to quit that, otherwise I just wouldn't financially be able to do it. But yeah, I'm starting a creative writing master's this September in the University of Roehampton, and I am so excited. And I made a little zine, and it's called Doing a Master's as a 2-time Undergrad Dropout, and it's a bit like about my educational history, like my work history and stuff. And then the last zine I made in July was when I did another workshop where we sort of did affirmation zines inspired by my own rodent affirmations. So I did Be More Mouse, mouse affirmations. This is me just getting inspired by rodents again. I allow myself to squeak. I am abundant in cheese. I am nimble. I am quick. I live in a thimble. I am unbothered by anything that annoys me. I am too mouse to care. Mouse is love. Mouse is life. With this doodle of a mouse. Mouse of the house, I get the chores done. The tea I drink is amazing, and I am so mouse. And ironically, a page about tea, I spilt my tea all over this, so that was fun. But this is the only zine that I have made genuinely standing up, using my hand as a table. So I'm kind of impressed, even if it's not my best work, at how this came out. So cheers to tea drinking mice, I guess. So that is the end of the video, and thank you so much for watching. And if you've made any zines throughout May, June or July, please comment the links to them down below, as I would love to see them. And have a magical rest of your day.